We're live from Go EdTech Go Studios at Eastside High School with our first ever Golden Boys podcast.
Hey, this Golden Boys podcast is your place to talk about all things sports. I'm Rob Reynoso, this is Mike Gonzalez, and the one and only Gil Gomez.
Today we have two special guests. First, sitting with us is Jason Chronister, the athletic director at AV High School. Jason's been in the Valley for a long time, went through the system. His family's been here a long time. We also have Jeff Williams, who is joining us via Google Meet. Jeff is one of our special guests because he's been here for so long. He's been around the block, haven't you, Jeff?
A few times.
Yeah. Jeff, just a little bit about Jeff. Jeff went to Purdue and played football at Purdue. He was actually part of the 1984 Peach Bowl team. Who'd you guys play that year, Jeff?
We played the University of Virginia.
And how'd that turn out?
We lost 27-23. We were up by 14 points.
Oh, man. I shouldn't
Jim Everett was our quarterback, and Rod Woodson was on my team also.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Rob. Yeah.
Jeff was a scholar athlete there as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then he was the football coach at Palmdale High School in 1990 until, just a couple of years ago.
2016, I gave it up. And, I was the athletic director taking over for Gary Phelps in 2005. And so I was the athletic director until last year.
Yeah, and Jeff has 13 Golden League titles, 26 CIF playoff appearances, 2 CIF championships. Wow. He was the head track coach there. I know he was a starter for a while there at the end. And he also sat on the football advisory committee for CIF, and he was a member of the CIF Executive Council.
That's impressive.
That's super cool.
I had to get all
that's a whirlwind.
That's one show right there.
I know.
Just that. And one of the hottest topics right now is girls flag football. Mm-hmm. So we're going to kind of throw it to Jason Chronister a little bit here. Jason is our league scheduler for the Golden League. If you want to talk about kind of the format of what we're going to do for girls flag football.
Absolutely. We're all excited about this in the league because we have Monday night football, which of course coincides with everything that happens with the NFL and things like that. And speaking of the NFL, the Rams and the Chargers have given almost every site in our district some funds to help establish this, along with the district, of course, too. The district has been staunch supporters of what's going on, and we're just really excited to see all these girls get out there and kind of show something. And, it's uncharted territory. It's a brand new thing, and we really don't know what it's going to look like. But we do know that when we've had Powder Puff games in the past and things of that nature, those contests have been somewhat passionate at different sites, if you want to say. And we know that it's going to be competitive and it's going to be a lot of fun. That's the key thing, too. And so we're really excited as a league to start these events.
How many games are they going to be playing?
So they'll be playing just the league schedule right now, but they can have some preseason games as well. The games will be on Monday night. There's a JV game and then a varsity game. And then, it'll be very, very exciting. It'll start in September.
Okay.
So.
Oh, okay. I have a question about that, though. What's the pulse at the schools about it? Are they excited about it? Is it something that they're looking forward to doing? I know you said uncharted territory, which could be scary.
Every school's different.
What do you think?
Jeff and Gil remember. We did a poll to see how many kids are involved. I know personally at AV we have about 30 girls cleared already, and more girls are coming on board. Court Sill is close to 45 or 50 girls cleared, and I know personally some of their soccer girls are playing. Girls from other sports are coming in, and the goal is, of course, is for us to grow programs and not necessarily affect girls golf or volleyball or other sports that are at the same time.
Now, those numbers are pretty high. I mean, that's like some of the football teams out here, 30, 40, 40 players. But from what I understand, there's only 7 playing at a time.
That is true. So it is something that is an adjustment. Now, do you have 7 on defense, 7 on offense? Do you have, because if you go, and then there's a JV and a varsity, so I mean, technically you can have 20-something girls, 28 girls. Yeah, Mr. Math guy over there. Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, from your side, I know you sit on the executive committee. What's the talk from CIF as far as the excitement that's coming around with girls flag football? I know the Chargers are involved. USA Football is involved. They did they gave packages away to some of the schools that Jason talked about. What from the CIF side are you seeing as far as the excitement?
Well, this has been a pilot program in the southern section for 2 years now. So there has been a growing interest. I sat on the committee 2 years ago when it was presented to us, and there is a national trend going on for girls flag football. So we aren't the first stop by any means, but there was a growing enthusiasm for it. And, the only other opportunity is tackle football. And a lot of girls didn't want to get into the tackle football because it is a big commitment. And this is for girls only, and I think it's paced really well. And the way we introduced it by doing the pilot program, and the big thing is it's not just the Chargers and the Rams, but all the teams in all the states have backed it. And so they're doing some big events at SoFi. There's a big flag football tournament at SoFi. So they put a lot of emphasis into this, and it's going to be growing.
Yeah, and I've seen from some of the research that at the state level in California, it was 146-0 on the vote. So everybody's in favor of this.
On board here.
And it looks like Alabama, Nevada, New York, all of those states are jumping on board with flag football.
Yeah, it's going to be extra special. It's a very fast pace, and I know Jason referred back to the old Powder Puff games. Those were some pretty doggone raucous games.
They were.
And they would always get the crowd out. So I think this is going to be a fan favorite for a lot of our fans here in the Antelope Valley.
I mean, it's running 12 minutes, so these games are going to be quick. The pace is going to be quick, right? We're going to get these athletes out who are doing other things. Maybe some soccer kids. We have some wrestlers out. So it's going to be a different experience for people to come out and see something a little bit different when we talk about football.
Yeah, it definitely will. And like I said, it's a good change up. And our thing is including everyone, and we want to be as inclusive. So, we're looking at adding quite a few sports from the section point of view. And I was very excited when they decided to do this.
A couple things is we talked about some of the schools got some packages from the Rams and USA Football, including flags and footballs and cones and watches and things like that. So they're in support of this. It's going to be fun to watch it grow. We don't really know the format, do we, as far as the playoffs and things like that?
I think it's one of those ones where we wanted to get it started, and it's going to be evolving. So that maybe not this year, there might not be a full playoff, but they want to evolve that and grow it. I mean, it's competitive equity at its finest. Competitive equity isn't something that's static. It's evolving every year, and flag football is going to be the same way.
When we're looking at girls flag football, is this going to extend into the college ranks? Is this something where kids are going to be able to get scholarships to play flag football? Because a lot of the ones that we do now, that is a thing. But right now it's so new that we have this girl who plays and she's really good. Is she going to be able to take her talents to the collegiate level? Or is this just something that we're doing kind of like intramurals?
Well, I think, being an athlete, you want that opportunity. And athletes are going to be athletes regardless of what sport they're playing. But I did see there was a social media post just the other day, probably 2 days ago, where the first female flag football player received a scholarship.
Oh, wow.
And it was for flag football. Yeah. So the colleges, they see this also. So she was the very first one, and I'm going, okay, this is a good start. But there's never enough female athletes to fill the number of scholarships that colleges have. So this is just another avenue. female sports, they do rowing, they do tennis, they do bowling. I mean, there's a lot, and there's never enough athletes to fill those scholarships.
Yeah,
So this is a good thing.
And recently we have girls wrestling, which I know at Eastside you've had a scholarship athlete and AV as well. So, these new sports are growing as we move forward. So it's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting.
And CIF's doing a good job. I know we had wrestling, and now it's kind of divvied up into male and female, girls and boys. And so that's kind of a cool opportunity for girls. Now we're starting to see a lot of those girls come out, and we've had a lot of success in the Valley, in the Antelope Valley, with girls wrestlers specifically.
Yes.
Well, one thing looking forward to this season now, school starts in a week, right? We have fall sports coming up. What's one thing, we'll start with Jason, then we'll go to Jeff. One thing you're super excited about this year with athletics in Golden League?
Well, there's a lot of things to be excited about, but the thing that's most exciting is when the girls play their flag football game on Monday, there will be a football contest on Friday to end the week against the same school. So when we have the good old Eastside AV game, that will be a very exciting week. And it's something, yes, backyard bowl. Yes. And so it's very exciting to have some of these things coming along. And I'm excited personally at AV because we have Dion Price coming out of retirement as our girls flag football coach. He was our CIF champion girls basketball coach as well. And so he brings a lot of excitement to our school personally. And I know a lot of the other schools like Dean Miller's over there at Quartz Hill. And David Stowe, of course. The Stowe Show is back at Highland. And it's there's a lot of excitement at these different sites for girls flag football in particular. But then we got to remember, we got a bunch of wonderful sports. We have girls golf. We have
girls tennis,
volleyball, cross country, of course, with some tremendous athletes that keep competing at the CIF level. And a lot of people need to understand that they don't need to go anywhere else. They could stay local, play local, and get whatever scholarship that they want or desire, because the Golden League is a platform for students to stay and compete at any level that they want to. And they can also end up getting any NCAA clearances and what they need at their individual sites.
So it's awesome.
Jeff, what are you excited about?
Well, I'm excited. I'm always excited this time of year. Being an old coach, watching the Hall of Fame game yesterday, it kind of gets your blood flowing. And this time of year is always kind of special for me, and it's kind of that routine of, being able to go out and watch some good football. We've got some great cross-country teams and girls volleyball. My daughters all played volleyball in the Valley, and my second daughter, she earned a volleyball scholarship to UC Santa Barbara, playing right here in the Golden League.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
so those are the things, if you prepare, the coaches and the colleges will find you. And, I just heard that we had Miss Billups, her daughter, just signed a scholarship to Eastern Kentucky University to play softball.
Yeah.
Right out of Fort Hill High School. So the colleges will find you if you're going to be a good athlete.
Yeah, and that's a good segue in that, with social media being what it is, right? So social media, we get this promotion, we got coaches promoting, we have schools promoting, we have kids promoting themselves, right? So last night we had a media day.
That's right.
And so there was a football media day for the Golden League. And this was kind of put on. Russ Gordon at Quartz Hill kind of talked about it a little bit. I think he set it all up. And so we had the paper out. We had AV Press and LA Times. Eric Sotomayor was there.
Yeah, Eric Sotomayor.
Yeah, and Jack Pollan was there. And they tweeted out some of these things. And so this is our opportunity to get some of these big people out there doing the tweets and expanding on what we do in the Valley. The whole goal yesterday was just to build community, to get to bring some light to the Golden Valley. I mean, to the Golden League. So I know you're on vacation, obviously, and you weren't there last night. And so, but it was a really good showing by all of them. Yeah, right.
No, the excitement, when I started, when Brent Newcomb was there, John Albee, and we all came in under Coach Lowry. I mean, this was years ago, decades ago. And everybody, my first question that I was asked when I took over as head coach at Palmdale is, where's Palmdale? You'd go visit all these other schools during the summer. Where the heck is Palmdale? And now everyone knows where Palmdale is. Everyone knows where Antelope Valley is. Everyone knows where Quartz Hill is. I was looking at the Little League World Softball the other day, and that team from Quartz Hill was on there. So it's familiarity now. You know, coaches will always stop by. If you have something, I've had coaches that have come by that were 1 year at UCLA, next year at BYU, next year at Western Kentucky. They always stop by when you have a good product. And I believe the Antelope Valley as a whole puts out a really good product.
And we do. Look at last year, we won the CIF championship. Lancaster did in football.
Absolutely.
We've had AV's won a couple football. So has Quartz Hill recently.
Yes.
And, you know, basketball, the girls at Lancaster in 2020, state championships, Eastside, state championships. So we're seeing the progress. We're seeing kind of everything we're doing kind of come together. And so there's lots of things happening here.
I mean, some people forget that, like, Pete Knight had Paul George, one of the best players in the NBA,
right, exactly.
go there. And then Josh Kelly went here at Eastside High School, too. And we have just, you know, it's Will Demps was at Highland. Ryan Millar was in 4 Olympics from Highland High School. And people don't, you know, I mean, the history goes way far back with Coach, of course, but we have a lot of opportunities. And Adam Wheeler was at Lancaster High School and won a bronze medal. So,
well, you mentioned Josh Kelly. He's a prime example. You know, he ended up going to UC Davis, right?
Yes,
he was not heavily recruited, which he should have been. Obviously, I mean, he's playing for the Chargers now. So he's an example. Paul George also. He ended up at Fresno State before he. But
there's more. There's like Coach and I know. I was a vice principal at Palmdale High School, and you know, there's a little skater guy that was a 9th grader. This is him going out for football, and I just tell him, you know, don't skate around the facilities. And then he went out for Coach, and his name was Dave Richards. He got a full ride scholarship to Arizona, and he didn't even play until he was a sophomore. So these students can come out at any point in their lives, and you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
the possibilities are here in the Golden League.
Yep,
that's great.
Hidden gems.
Yes,
in the desert.
I think what separates us is our coaches. We've got some real quality coaches, and coaching isn't just coaching during practice and during games. It's coaching kids about life, setting them up, preparing them for success. And I believe our coaches do a really good job. They go above and beyond that. You know, checking on their academics, making sure they're in the right classes for their A through G, setting up those opportunities for success for our kids. And that's what I'm proud of more than anything else, is we've kind of set a standard for that.
You know, everything, the facilities we have, the coaches we have, the things we have in place, the community that we've built, those are the important things that people have to understand that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of just a false illusion. You know, parents are always looking for that scholarship, and scholarships are a necessity in high school. Finding a quality program in your public school is worth all the money that you're spending on that train, on that bus, all that time. Because what happens to a lot of those kids, Jason? What happens to them?
Well, a lot of them come back to us,
coming right back to us.
And when they do, we welcome them with open arms. Honestly,
absolutely.
The second chance guys have been, you know, first team all league. They end up getting, but the issue is when you leave and come back, and this is an important thing for students to know, is when they leave and come back, it's hard to get NCAA qualified when you go down to a private school down the hill, and then they tell you they no longer want you, and that's something that you don't hear on the front end.
And you lose a year, right?
And you lose, academics, transfer, transition, not having that support system. We have a support. They can walk into Michelle Stanford's office here at Eastside High School and get what they need here in the Valley with all kinds of supports. You know, the emotional support, the academic support, all those things, and it's here. So playing local, staying local is an important thing.
And from a recruiting standpoint, you know, I mean, this kid isn't staying at one high school. He keeps moving around, and in this day and age with the transfer portal in college, that doesn't work well for you.
And that's where some kids get confused is they see the transfer portal in college. It's not the same with the CIF rules, and
No.
we might expand on that at another time.
Right. We can
but,
do a whole show on that for sure.
But ultimately, we have students who go back and forth between East Side and AV, and it doesn't behoove them. What benefits students to understand is the things like the media day that gets their exposure, the girls' flag football teams that we're starting out,
Right.
and the coaches that we have. It's a quality situation.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
well, I see Coach Williams there is ready for vacation. He's actually on vacation.
Absolutely.
He's
We
got the
kept
grill.
trying to catch him, so I know he wants to get his vacation going today.
Temecula.
All
There you go.
right, all right.
Get the grill fired up. Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap up here, and I want to say thanks, Coach Williams, for joining us and for all you've done for the Golden League. And thanks to Jason Chronister from AV, of
course,
for joining us on our pilot show.
Exactly.
And hopefully this went well enough that we can do more shows like this and talk about hot topics in the Golden League.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for joining us on our
Thank you for
first
the
episode
opportunity.
of Golden Boys.
Hey, Coach, maybe next time they'll give us one of these fancy jackets.
Maybe.
I know. I was looking at that. I got my gold.
Hey, there you go.
I can't compare to that.
Hey, Coach, don't forget to catch our next Golden Boys podcast by following us on Go EdTech Go.
All right.
All right, you guys.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Thanks
All
for
right.
joining
Thanks
us.
a lot, guys.
All right. See ya.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was good.
Not bad.
Now, next time we'll record.
That was the rehearsal.
So that was
Do that again one more time.